Now I'm going to continue with the geodetic procedure when we want to make leveling of a longitudinal profile. Because it is specific leveling, it is not the same as the basic leveling that we have discussed the previous semester. So after setting out all the detailed points of a linear facility section, we need to determine the heights of all these detailed points. For example, here on the slide, we have a linear facility section between point A and point B. We have detailed point 1, detailed point 2, and so on. The last one is point 6 and the end of the section, and the distance between these points are 20 meters. So these points are set. They have been set out on the terrain, and now we need to determine the elevations of all of these detailed points. When we have many points to level, it is not appropriate to use the standard leveling, which you know already, because it requires many measurements and it takes a very long time. For faster leveling, in this case, usually we use leveling with intermediate readings. So, leveling with intermediate readings is the basic type of leveling when we use to determine the height of the points for longitudinal profile. So what is the sequence of the geodetic actions here? So we can make a loop leveling line. Of course, we're going to need benchmark. For example, benchmark 100 is going to be the one that is nearest to our facility section. Okay, so this is the reference, the initial point. And you know, when we do leveling line, we need to start with backside reading. Here is the first station of the level instrument. So the first thing we need to make a backside reading to the benchmark 100. So we need to place here the leveling stuff. And after that, we are going to continue with foresight reading to the first point of our linear facility. In our case, this is point A. So we have two readings, backside and foresight reading. Then we need to move the instrument, and we're going to find place of the instrument where we can see many points of the linear section. We're going to start with, of course, backside reading to the last point. This is point A, and after that, here is the difference that is very specific. Now we can take intermediate readings. These readings are marked with C in a gray color. On the side, we can take intermediate readings to all of the points that we can see from this station of the instrument. So it is really important that the readings for the last point that we see, in this case, the last point that we see is point 4. After that, I cannot see, for example, point 5 from this station of the instrument. So if this is the last point that we can see, so this last reading, it cannot be intermediate reading, it must be a foresight reading. Why? Because after that we are going to move the instrument. So the last point that we can see is point 4. This is a foresight reading to point 4, and then we move the instrument to go on. And the first reading again is going to be backside reading to the last point. In this case, this is point 4. Then again, we can continue to make intermediate readings to all of the points that we can see from here. And in this case, we can see all the points, but point B is the end of our linear facility. So the last point is going to be foresight reading. And then we need to move the instrument to close our loop leveling line. So we need to return back to the reference benchmark. So this is the last station of our instrument. The first reading is going to be backside reading to the last point B, and the last one, it is foresight reading to the benchmark. So these are all the readings that we need to measure and to write down. Again, in gray color, there are the intermediate readings here, and it is very specific that we do not have any control of these readings. So we need to do these measurements very carefully because we cannot control them. But for these readings where we have backside and foresight readings, we are going to make calculations for loop leveling line. We are going to calculate the misclosure of the loop leveling line, and then we are going to calculate the corrections of all of the measured elevations between the points, but only where we have backside and foresight readings. Next, the calculations. You know that we need to sum all the backside readings, then to sum all the foresight readings. These are here readings A, readings B, and also we are going to need to sum all the distances, the length of our loop leveling line, to calculate the misclosure and the accuracy of the misclosure. Then the misclosure you can see here in the first equation. After that, I don't know why. The next number is 3, not 2 of the equation. So this is the allowable misclosure, and here is the equation for calculating the corrections. You know all of these equations from the previous semester. I think in exercise 4 we have measured this kind of loop leveling line, and for a verification, the sum of all of the corrections must be the misclosure with opposite sign. Then the specific thing that we're going to calculate here when we have leveling with intermediate readings, this is calculating the height of the horizon or the height of the instrument. This is this element, the height of the instrument. How we are going to calculate this element? We have the instrument here, and we have from our example point A. We have measured backside reading to point A, and after that we have measured intermediate reading to detailed point 3. So to calculate the height of the instrument or the height of the horizon of the instrument, we need to take the height of point A. We already have this because firstly we calculate the loop leveling line, and the height of point A plus the backside reading to this point is going to give us the height of the instrument. Then all the points that we have measured from this station of our level instrument with intermediate readings, we can calculate their height. The height in this using this equation, and the height of each point is going to be the height of the instrument minus the intermediate reading. It is very important here that every time we have moved the instrument, we have different height of the instrument. In our example, we have two times that we need to calculate the height of the instrument. This is firstly when we move the instrument to point A, and then when we moved the instrument to point 4. I'm going to move back to the scheme. Here you can see we move the instrument here, so we have one height of the instrument that we're going to calculate using the height of point A and the backside reading to point A, and all of these points we are going to calculate their heights using the height of the instrument in station 2. After that we have moved the instrument to station 3, so here we need to calculate the height of the instrument using the height of point 4 plus the backside reading to point 4, and then the height of point 5 and 6, which we have measured with intermediate readings, we are going to calculate with the height of the instrument and at station 3. Okay, and here is